Well, my name is Alejandro. I work with Commissioner Raquel Regalado. Welcome to joining us here on this educational session. Today we have the Miami International Airport. We have the director, Rolf. I know there's a lot of people in the conference room, so if you could wave your hand. And that's our director there. He's going to give us a walkthrough. Thank you for joining us. I'm passing it over to the team.
Okay, so thank you, Alex, and thank you everyone for joining us. Before we start, I'm going to do a quick intro. My name is Rolf Gutiérrez, Director, CEO of Miami International Airport, and I want to introduce the rest of the people from our team that are here in the room with us. So I'll go ahead and start that.
Ana Finol, I'm an interim Deputy Director for MDAD, Miami-Dade Aviation Department.
Good afternoon, Tony Quintero. I'm the Director of Governmental Affairs for the Aviation Department.
Good afternoon, Andia Muniz Salvador. I'm Chief of Staff for Mr. Rolf Gutiérrez here at MIA.
Adrian Uribe, graphic designer for Miami International Airport.
Okay, so thank you all for being on the call, and go ahead, Alex.
One more thing, for those that have questions, feel free to use the question and answer box, and we'll compile them there, and we'll review them and answer them later.
Sure.
And,
So thank you, Alex. So what we're going to do for everybody that's listening, thank you all for joining us and giving us the opportunity to share a lot of the good news and a lot of the progress that we're making here at MIA, both on the modernization side and on the capital side, and a lot of the great awards we've won lately, rankings, etc. So what we're going to do to start it off is we're going to kick the meeting off with a 1-minute video which covers our accomplishments for 2025, this past year that we just closed out. And then once we're done, I'll go ahead and go through approximately a 30-minute presentation on the status of our airport, different things that we're working on, rankings, etc. And then after that, we'll open it up for about 20 minutes for questions and answers from all of you that are attending. So with that, I'll hand it over to Adrian. Go ahead and want to run the video. Okay, perfect. So I'll start out. I always like to start out, Alex, with a little bit of perspective so everybody understands and gives some of the rankings and the information I share some resonance. So there's about 40,000 airports, in the entire world of varying sizes. Not all of them are the size of our airport or as big as our airport, but anything ranging from an airfield with a tower to airports the size of ours, etc. So about 40,000 in the world. 20,000 of those are in the United States. About 9,000 of those airports accept commercial traffic, which is the American Airlines, United, Deltas of the world. So the reason I like to start out with that because it puts some of the things that I'm going to say in perspective. So we just completed this year in 2025, our second straight year of more than 55 million passengers. The year before that, 2024, we had our best year ever, almost 56 million passengers. So this year we had about 55.3. We were about 1% over the national average overall in the entire nation. The overall travel industry was down almost 2%. We were at about 1%. So great year. That made our fourth straight year over 50 million passengers, 55 and change. So on the passenger side, we are really, really doing well. We've got 4 tremendous years. Prior to that, and just very briefly, our best years before that were 2019, right before COVID, when we had nearly 46 million. So we've had explosive growth in the last 5 or 6 years in passenger volume, and something we're very excited about. We're one of the busiest airports in the world. I'll show you some of those rankings now in a couple of minutes, and that'll give you an idea as far as perspective. But so 56 million, that is on the passenger side. On the cargo side, we just completed our sixth straight record-breaking year of cargo volume. We finished this year at close to 3.4 million tons of cargo for the year, which is our 6th straight record-breaking year. And the reason I like to start out with that information is that'll put some of these rankings that you'll see on your screen in perspective. So as of today, MIA, we're the second busiest airport for international passengers in the entire country, 10th busiest airport in the entire country for overall total passengers. And then those same rankings around the, when you take them worldwide, we're the 27th busiest airport in the entire world for total overall passengers and 34th for international passengers. So we are essentially one of the busiest passenger airports in the world. And I'll get into the cargo side now. As far as number of flights, we average about 1,100 flights a day, more or less. And then during our peak periods, which is the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, that flight number bumps up to about 1,300 plus flights a day. So what does that translates to us being the 9th busiest airfield in the country and the 13th busiest airfield in the world. So that gives you an idea as far as passengers, number of flights, etc., rankings for passengers. When it comes to cargo, MIA is the #1 airport in the entire United States for international freight, and we're the #3 airport in the U.S. for total freight and #3 airport in the U.S. for total cargo, which is freight and mail. In those same categories, worldwide, we're the fifth busiest airport for international freight, 6th busiest for total freight, and 6th busiest for total cargo. So when you take all those numbers and put them all together and kind of take them as a whole, you can say with a straight face that we are one of the busiest both passenger and cargo airports in the entire world. You remember what I said at the beginning? There's 40,000 airports in the world, 20,000 in the U.S. When you look at those rankings compared to the number of airports there are in the world, we're very high on that list as far as number of passengers and cargo. So again, we've had explosive growth in both those areas. It's something that we're very excited about. And if you look at that one yellow highlighted section of that slide, that is our economic impact to not only Miami-Dade County, the region, but the entire state of Florida. So MIA represents $181.4 billion in economic impact and nearly 843,000 jobs total annually to the entire state of Florida. To give you that a little perspective on that, one of the biggest employers in the entire state of Florida is Disney, and their economic impact is about $45 billion a year. So we're about 4.5 times the economic impact of Disney to the entire state of Florida. We are right now the state of Florida's #1 economic engine, and those numbers continue to climb as our cargo and passenger numbers continue to increase. So that's the importance of our airport to not only the local community but the state of Florida. Now, regarding economic impact and some facts that a lot of people don't know, MIA also has a nationwide impact when it comes to not only jobs but cargo delivered. For example, 91% of all the flowers that enter into the U.S. come in through MIA, about 65% of all the fruits and vegetables, and about 59% of the fish. So not only are we impacting local jobs here, but we're also impacting jobs and economies in other parts of the country. So that's something that we take a lot of pride in and we're excited about. So with that growth that I just went over and that you've seen there, let's go to the next slide. So, long-term projections, we are looking at 77 million passengers by the year 2040 and about 5 million tons of cargo almost by the year 2040, which is only about 14 years away. So we have to plan for that growth, and that exponential growth continues to keep, the growth continues. So we have a very ambitious multi-billion-dollar capital program and a modernization program to accommodate that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover some of the highlights of that program for everybody, and I know some of those areas, we've received a lot of interest from the public, etc., of things we're doing. So I'll go over some of that right now. So currently, our program is a little bit over $9 billion, although it continues to grow. It's looking right now that it'll end up being somewhere in the $14 billion range in the future. But I'm going to go over what the program stands as it is, where it stands as it is today. And that program is divided into 2 distinct components. About 1.7 billion of that 9 billion is for modernization projects, and the remaining 7.5 billion and growing are for capital improvements, expansions to our terminals, etc. So what I'm going to do, I'll cover first the modernization side of it, because it's something that is very public facing and the public is always asking questions about. So what we've done is we've systematically mapped out in our terminal a passenger's path of travel from the time they get off their aircraft to the time they leave the airport. And one of the first things that a passenger sees is our passenger loading bridges, which connect our terminal to, maybe you want to go to that,
The loading bridge.
the loading bridge. Okay, sorry, the feed is a little slow. So the first thing about, while we load that up, the first thing there it is. The first thing a passenger sees is a passenger loading bridge. We've already replaced 32 of them. We have 128 of them that we have to replace. We have another 10 that are scheduled to be delivered early this year, and another 15 that are on order for the next year. So we're investing $235 million in replacing all those. We're going all glass bridges from now on because they make a lot more sense from the maintenance side, and they also provide a better customer experience to our passengers. So that is the first thing a passenger sees, and we're addressing that right now with the replacement of our bridges. The next place a passenger goes, usually after they get off an aircraft, is our bathrooms. We have 447 restrooms in our terminal, about 998 bathrooms total in the entire airport, 447 of them in the terminal. We have a restroom renovation program, which is going to replace close to the first 200, about half of the restrooms in the terminal, and that program is well underway. We've completed nearly 50, the construction and renovation of nearly 50 restrooms. We have another 136 more or less in design, and another probably 10 to 15 in permitting. So that program is moving along very, very well. The new design of the restrooms is very modern, very sleek, and a significant upgrade from the old restrooms. So we are making significant strides in that regard. Then the next thing a passenger usually takes is a conveyance unit, which is either an elevator, escalator, or moving walkway. We have 616 conveyance units in our airport. That's more than half than all of the units in the county combined are here at MIA. And we have a program that is well underway on modernizing and replacing those units and performing major repairs. As of this year, and actually last year and this year, we have improved the rate of operation for our conveyance units to 95%. So that means that 95% of the 616 conveyance units are always operational. The remaining 5% are either they're being replaced, they're undergoing a major repair, or undergoing an annual maintenance cycle. So we've made significant progress in the area of conveyances over the last couple of years. Actually, an interesting fact, we have actually doubled the rate of completion for replacement of units from 2 years ago to this past year. Back in 23 and 24, we replaced 32 units in 2 years. And this year in 2025, the year we just closed, we replaced 38 in a year. So we've actually improved the replacement rate by 100%. So significant improvements on that end. And then we also have other programs within our modernization, actually other components of our modernization program, including about $550 million for electrical infrastructure upgrades, backup generator upgrades, etc., and a very large terminal-wide roof replacement project, which will include solar panels and power generation systems to reduce our carbon footprint and also our power consumption here at the airport. So when you total all those modernization programs and deferred maintenance programs together, that's about $1.7 billion worth of investment that we're making into our airport. And one thing I wanted to cover before I keep going, because I get asked this question a lot, Miami International Airport does not receive 1 penny from county's property taxes. We are totally self-funded. We are what's considered in the industry a residual airport, which means that about 35% of our revenue is self-generated from rents that we charge tenants and fees that we charge in our parking garages, etc. And the remaining 65% of our revenue is paid for by the airlines as part of their landing fees and passenger facility charges, etc. So we are completely self-funded, and we also receive grants from the federal government, from the state, to help us implement our projects, etc. But I wanted to make that clear that we don't get 1 penny from the county's general fund or from any county property taxes. So that's an overview of the modernization program, which is bringing a lot of deferred maintenance and other areas, up to where they should be. And then we also have a very, which is under Anna, who's sitting here next to me. We have a very, very robust capital program, which we need to implement to account for the growth that we're projecting over the next 14 years. And not by coincidence, The capital plan is approximately a 15-year program, so we're gonna accommodate and grow as the airport grows. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cover. Alex, can you see can everybody see the graphic in front of me that has our capital program and the different projects?
I see the one with the airport in the middle with the orange circle and multiple bubbles.
Perfect. Okay. So then what I'm gonna cover now is our capital program, and I'm not gonna go through each and every project because we could be here for hours. So I'm gonna just go over some of the large, really public-facing projects that we're currently working on now. And these projects will be completed in the next 5 to 7 years of the 15 years. So I'll start out with the first project, which has already been completed. We opened for business on our new Ibis garage. Go ahead and click on that, please, Adrian. Okay. So our new Ibis garage, we opened it on December 19th. It was opened 6 months ahead of schedule and under budget. It's going to increase our parking capacity by about 25 to 30%. It includes 2,240 spaces, EV charging stations, 50 to start, and it can be expanded to more than 400 EV charging stations. It's got a Park Smart Silver rating, so it's one of the highest environmental ratings of any kind of parking garage. All LED lighting, etc. So great project. It was under Anna's leadership. It was completed, like I said, 6 months ahead of schedule and under budget, which in the county is not a very common thing. So we're very proud of how that project was handled on a very constrained site, and it's really a great project. So that was our first large public-facing capital project that we completed, and I'll go now to the next one. Let's go to Concourse K. So while this loads up, okay. So this is what we call Concourse K. This is our South Terminal expansion. This is the first terminal expansion here at MIA in the last 18 years. It's a $750 million project. It's going to add an additional 6 narrow body gates. 3 of those gates can be converted to international capable sometime in the future. It will include about 21 or 23,000 square feet of additional concession space, shelf space for additional lounges, etc. And the scheduled completion for that, we broke ground on this project back in June of last year. And the scheduled completion date for that project is spring of 2029, and it is currently proceeding on schedule. So we're extremely excited about that project. It will connect to Concourse J over in the eastern side of our terminal. It's going to have all natural lighting, glass, etc. Really state-of-the-art facility. So something we're excited about. So keep the spring 2029 date in your back of your mind, because I'm going to kind of bring it all together when I go over some of the other projects. So let's go to Central Terminal. Okay, so Central Terminal redevelopment is divided into 2 phases, phases 1 and 2. Central Terminal is our oldest terminal. It's 80 plus years old. For those of you that don't know, our airport will celebrate our 100-year anniversary in 2028. I think it's September of 2028. So Central Terminal, for those of you that fly often here at MIA, is one of our oldest terminals and really needs a lot of tender loving care. So this project will include, both of these projects will include post-security connectors, which will connect our concourses post-security and allow our passengers to connect the flights without having to exit and re-enter through our security checkpoints, which is a great convenience. They'll include consolidated checkpoints to improve passenger throughput through our terminal. It'll include vertical circulation spaces, additional concessions areas, things of that nature. So that project, both of these projects are currently under design, and they're scheduled to be completed in 2031. So if you remember, Concourse K 2029, Central Terminal 2031. Let's go to phase 2 for a second. These are some renderings of Alex, and you see the Central Terminal phase 2. Just want to make sure everybody can see.
I do.
Renderings.
I do.
Okay,
Central Terminal.
So what these photographs and renderings show are what some of these areas in Central Terminal will look like when it's all said and done. If you look at the very top photo, that's what a consolidated checkpoint will look like. Industry studies show that when you have consolidated checkpoints, the passenger throughput and the time that passengers wait at checkpoints is significantly improved. As we stand today, I think we have MIA has, I think, the 6th best wait times in the country at our checkpoints. This will improve it even more. When you have checkpoints consolidated, the movement of passengers is a lot more efficient. and a lot faster. So we're also going to have better, in the second picture, vertical circulation elements, areas of the ceiling that will be raised to have more natural lighting, etc. And when you look at the bottom photograph, both central terminal projects will also completely renovate the exterior facade of the terminal. So you will no longer see that old kind of brown steel. It will look something like what you see there right now in that third picture. So both those projects are scheduled to be done in 2031. They are currently under design. We expect to break ground on the construction summer of 2028 and then be completed by 2031. So that's another, each one of those projects is about 300. One is 450 some odd million. The other one is 375. So very, very ambitious projects, but will really change the look of our airport completely, the oldest part of our airport. So let's go to D60. The next project I'm going to go over now is D60, which is at the very west end of North Terminal, which is where American flies. For those of you that ever fly regionally to Tallahassee or Gainesville or some other regional connection points from MIA, many times you'll fly out of D60. Currently, it's a very constrained, kind of low ceiling, older terminal. You have to get the flights have to be caught outside, so you have to exit the terminal and get an air stair and get on board your flight on the tarmac. The new D60, which is a little bit over $1 billion project, will include 17 contact gates, which means you'll have 17 loading bridges, all glass that passengers will be able to use to access their aircraft. It'll include 30,000 square feet of concession spaces, 3-level higher ceilings, all glass, natural lighting. It'll include also an additional 30,000 square feet of lounge space as well. So what you see in front of you are the exterior rendering of what the D60 project will look like and what the interiors could potentially look like as well. That project is currently in preliminary design. We expect to put out the design build contract for that sometime summer of this year, for a groundbreaking summer of 2027, and then completion summer of 2030. So the reason we'll leave it like that for now. So let me recap some of the dates I gave you. So the 4 very large public-facing projects that I just covered, the completion dates are 2029, 2030 for D60, and 2031 for both phases of Central Terminal. Those projects will completely revamp and renovate and basically transform most of the public-facing areas of our airport. So what you're looking at is in the next 6.5 years, plus or minus, you're going to see our airport transform as far as everything that's public facing. Now, the capital improvement program includes more than 200 projects. A lot of them are behind the scenes, work on the runway and in our ramps, etc., to allow for better aircraft movement, more efficiency, that type of thing. But what the public will see is some of the projects I just covered for everybody here. So, thank you for that. Also, another project we're doing. Let's go to the cladding. Well, as a result of having this new garage, we also have a subsequent follow-on project which will wrap all of our garages, including the new garage, in this stainless steel cladding. Alex, can you see this picture?
Yes.
Okay, so this is an artist's rendering of what the cladding of our new garage will look like. And then we currently have a project underway, and there's a call for artists now that will be helping with the design of this. So basically, all of the garages will be clad in the stainless steel, very artistic, very aesthetic looking. So it won't just be concrete and steel. So what this will do, it will change the look as people enter the airport on Central Boulevard. Whether you go upper drive or lower drive, one of the first things you'll see is a brand new parking garage that's clad in stainless steel, really beautiful. And very aesthetically pleasing, along with our other garages. So that project was supposed to break ground on the cladding in summer of 28 and have it done by spring of 29. So that's moving along. Something we're excited about. Again, we're looking at not only making things more efficient, but making things more aesthetically pleasing here at our airport, always with the focus on having the best customer experience possible. And that's really the driving force behind what the mayor calls our Modernization and Action Program, our capital program, etc., is that focusing on customer experience, improving that, and putting us at that level that everybody here in Miami can be proud of. So what I've gone over now is basically most of the public facing projects. There's some others here that are going to be in future phases of the CIP, replacements at Concourse F, a new Concourse F, demolition of Concourse G. Those are in the later phases of the CIP. But all of those will be, again, like I said before, the purpose of all of them is to make us more efficient and make the airport just a more pleasing customer experience for all of our passengers, both incoming and outgoing. So I think I've gone now for about 30 minutes. I think that's enough. I don't know. Do you guys want to add anything else?
I would like to say that in the Miami-Dade Aviation Department website, there is a link for capital improvement. So you will have the list of the 200 plus projects that the director mentioned. So we have the 2 years look ahead for the different phases. So you can have more information in that website.
Okay. So Alex, as far as presentation, that's all I have. I mean, I didn't want to, go on forever. That kind of covers an overview of everything we're doing. I wanted to make sure I focused on our economic impact to the state of Florida, to our community, the amount of jobs that are generated by MIA, and then also all the projects we're working on, all the different efforts we have ongoing. So, I mean, we have made a tremendous amount of progress over the last several years, and we'll continue to make progress over the next 5 to 7 years based on all the stuff I've shared and all the information I've shared. So I think the message that I want to leave everybody with is, I would say within the next 5 to 7 years, MIA will be unrecognizable. It'll be a totally transformed airport on the public facing side, and then a lot even more efficient airport based on some of the behind the scenes projects that we're working on. So, something we're excited about. I know the mayor's very excited about it. I know Commissioner Regalado is very excited about it, and we have a lot of work ahead of us. We have a lot of work that we've completed already. And we look forward to the public's input and to continue to provide the customer service and even better customer service in the future.
Thank you. And this is the idea of these educational workshops. And the commissioner wanted to bring the what we're doing, to the people. So this is great. And thank you so much. We do have some questions in the Q&A. I don't know if you guys can see
Sure.
those.
I don't see them yet, but
See if it's possible to pull them
Some
up.
people are asking if they can get a copy of this presentation.
sure, absolutely, no problem.
Great. We can. Great.
We're excited about it, so we'd love to share it. I don't see the questions yet. Can you call them up? Hold
Should
on.
be a little button there.
Yeah, Adrian's working on.
Somebody asks, what does consolidated checkpoints mean?
Okay, sure. So right now we have 14 checkpoints?
Yep.
Something like that? Okay, so what a consolidated checkpoint means, instead of having, if you've been at the airport and you go, let's say if you start at door 1 and work all the way down, you have checkpoints, different checkpoints where you can access post security along the way. So in other words, you can access your flight from different checkpoints. What a consolidated checkpoint means is that instead of having a bunch of smaller checkpoints, you have one huge checkpoint or a few huge checkpoints, so that you, instead of having, let's say, one checkpoint with a couple of scanning machines, you'll have one huge checkpoint with 20 scanning machines. So that just makes that consolidated checkpoint makes it a lot easier for passengers and a lot more efficient for passenger movements, and it saves time for passengers to get from pre-security to post-security. Why is that important? Because if you can save a minute or 2 minutes of every passenger's journey getting to the checkpoint, multiply that by 56 million passengers, that's a significant savings in time. We're already, like I mentioned before, we have one of the best wait times at our checkpoints. This will make us even more efficient.
Orlando's a good example.
Orlando's a good example. They have a little bit higher passenger volume than us. They're not even close to us when it comes to cargo, but in passengers they're higher, but they have significant wait times at their checkpoints because they get backed up.
Okay, I have here. Please discuss the impact of the huge stadium being built right next to MIA, traffic and other
Okay.
impacts,
Okay, so I will tell you.
mitigation.
Okay, so let's get into that a little bit. So that project is not a county project. It's not an aviation project. That's a project that's being done by the private developer, Intro Miami, the team, and also the city of Miami. So the team is already there. They are complying with all the FAA regulations regarding height of the stadium, not using fireworks and smoke and anything that will impede aircraft operations. But the one concern that we have, and that the county as a whole, it's not just aviation involved, it's the aviation department, the Department of Transportation and Public Works, FDOT, GMX, are all working with the team on traffic mitigation measures. And there's several things being looked at to mitigate traffic, and I'll go over some of the ones that I'm familiar with. One of the things that the team has indicated they're going to do is they're going to build a pedestrian overpass that will connect the stadium, or at least connect right near the stadium to our MIC. So Tri-Rail comes down from Broward to the MIC. So the idea behind that is the team is anticipating about yeah, go ahead.
What is the MIC for those that don't know?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the Miami Intermodal Center, which sits just east of our airport, and that's where the rent-a-car center is. If you travel at the airport, the MIC is where we have Tri-Rail, transit buses, Metro Rail, and also our Mia mover that connects to the terminal connects to the MIC as well. So one of the things the team has said is they're expecting about 25% of their fan base to come from Broward. So if you take those cars off the road and not happening, that reduces the traffic coming in to the area, because they will take a train and then take the pedestrian overpass. That's one thing they're looking at. The other thing they're exploring is potentially having a dedicated off-ramp on the 836 westbound that would, instead of tying up our dedicated ramp into MIA, that would take them directly to the stadium site. So, I mean, traffic is obviously a concern for us because, as I mentioned, with the growth that we're experiencing, we have traffic now. I mean, it takes a long time to get to the airport now, which is why we put out advisories asking people to get here between 2 and 3.5 hours before their flight, just in case. This will add to it, but we are working with the team along with other county departments to try to mitigate the impact of the stadium. And I think they're expecting about 26 to 28 games a year, but they're also anticipating that they're going to be building a soccer village as well with retail and bars and restaurants. So that'll create additional, volume of people moving, along with the City of Miami building, which they're also going to be building as well. So, but we are working with the team and with other county departments to try to mitigate, and the state and GMX on that.
Okay, how will passenger experience be affected by the intense construction expected during the next 6 years?
Okay, that's a very good question. So one of the things one of the hardest things for us to do here, and I'll use an analogy, not so much as a joke, but you can understand how it is to work here. So this is from a very well-known former director. I mean, doing construction work here at MIA, we consider the equivalent of changing the tiles in your shower while you're taking a shower. So we have to, our biggest challenge, the thing that keeps us up at night, besides obviously security and keeping people safe, is our biggest challenge is performing all of this construction work while we continue to operate one of the busiest airports in the world. So, and that's the challenge. So what happens is we have to phase the work. So that's why you don't see everything happening all at once. Work that happens here always has to be phased, because we have to maintain areas of the airport open and operational to continue to accommodate the growth we're seeing. So there will be, obviously some pain while the work is going on, but our team will work together with all of our other partners to make sure that we mitigate that, and so that the work is phased, and we can go ahead and continue to accommodate the passenger volumes and the cargo volumes we're seeing while the work is going on. But construction and modernization comes with a little bit of pain, and progress sometimes there's some pain associated with it. Our job is to try to mitigate that pain as much as we can by phasing the work, by working with our contractors, consultants. As an example, we did that with our parking garage. Our parking garage, we had to shut down the bus loop on the ground floor driving out of the airport. Initially, that was going to be shut down for about 1.5 years. We worked with the contractor and with our land side and our sheriff's office to reroute traffic, etc. We redesigned the slab that went over the bus loop, and we were able to only shut it down for 6 months as opposed to 1.5 years, mitigated that impact, and nobody complained about it because we took steps to coordinate the work to do that. And we'll continue to do that in all these future projects that I'm talking about.
In terms of technology, especially Wi-Fi, are you planning some improvements?
Okay, that I'll have to get back to you on that, because I know we are, but I don't know the details. So if you just get that person's name, I know we are, but I don't know what the details are on the Wi-Fi right now.
Okay.
Any other question? I'll let you pick the questions, Alex, and I'll go.
There's many questions. There's many questions.
That's fine.
Is Terminal H a part of the Central Terminal project?
No, it is not. No, H, Concourse H is considered South Terminal, so it is not part of that.
How are you going to take care of increased cargo traffic at the airport?
Okay, so that's a very good question. We are currently working with some of our existing cargo carriers on expanding their facilities. We've received several proposals from some of our bigger cargo carriers. I can't get into who they are, but with the growth that we're seeing in cargo, we were at one point we were looking at a vertically integrated facility that kind of fell through. The developer that wanted to do that could not make the financials work. So we are currently working with existing cargo carriers on expanding their facilities, et cetera, so we can accommodate the growth that we're seeing. I mean, just to give you an idea, this year we had a 13% increase from our 2024 cargo volume. So we finished up 2025 with a 13% increase over the 3.1 million in 2024. So that's a very good question, and we are working together with both, I would say around 2 or 3 of our biggest cargo carriers on expanding their facilities, et cetera. You know, remember one thing, that's the reason it's a good question. We are limited in space. We have about 3,200 acres, a little bit over 3,200 acres of space in MIA proper. So we do not have a lot of space. So real estate is at a premium. So we have to work within what we have. So it's not like you can just grow. I mean, the acreage is limited. So we'll work within the footprint that we have to try to grow those cargo facilities.
Are there new hotels being built around the airport?
Okay, so we have received a proposal back about 2.5 years ago for a brand new hotel on a 1.8 acre site right east of the current hotel, and we're currently in negotiations with that developer on some redesigns that we have to do to that hotels. But yes, we will be building a new hotel here at the airport over the next several years. Right, that RFP was closed out 2.5 years ago. The actual development agreement was awarded by our board, and we are currently working through some FAA issues and some redesigns with the developer on building the new hotel. But yes, the answer to the question is yes, we will be building a new hotel here.
If a company has a unique high-tech solution to supplement some of these great improvements, are there opportunities to run pilot projects at the airport?
Sure, we can put you in touch with the head of our procurement department, and I'll get you her name. Yeah, the county has an ordinance or reso that covers pilot programs, and we're always open to new ideas or good ideas. So yeah, we can put you in touch with that individual. If you just give me the individual's name, we'll get him that information. And yeah, we run pilot programs here all the time on new technology. I'll give you like 2 examples. We just completed a biometric boarding program, which started out as a pilot, and now we have biometric boarding at all of our gates. We also completed a program for with American Airlines, we have autonomous wheelchairs, which will take people to their gates, etc. You know, you can call the wheelchair with an app and it will pick you up. That was another program that started as a pilot, and now it's here to stay. We also piloted autonomous lawnmowers at some of our general aviation airports. So yeah, we are always open to new technologies and those kind of ideas. So if you give me that individual's name, we'll get him the number of our procurement director.
Yeah, Alex, you can.
I only have a name, Juan Gonzalez, but can we?
You can forward it to me, and I'll direct them in the right place.
Yeah.
All right, Juan. If you could, I'm emailing you. I'm giving you my email in the response so that you could send me your request, and I can send it to the airport team.
We're glad to do it.
A ver.
I saw that one. That's a good one. Are there any upcoming civil or airfield infrastructure projects planned? We have great answers for that. Anna's team is working on a new runway hotspot. I can let her go over the project that our board just awarded, which is going to be a 4-year project. We have a new runway incursion mitigation hotspot project, which our board just awarded. It's a tremendous project which is going to relieve congestion at an intersection point between two of our busiest runways. And our board just awarded that. So we're working on that. We also have numerous pavement and drainage contracts underway and future ones that we have planned. I don't know if you want to go over any of those on them. I mean, or we can just send them a list.
We have a civil work also with the Concourse K because we're realigning the road to have access to the new concourse. So that's part of the civil work. As part of D60 also, we're doing a lot of civil work because we're doing the few lines that have to be replaced. And we just finished the central base hard stands for American Airlines that was recently completed. So yes, we have a long list of drainage and civil work projects here at MIS.
And Alex, I just saw this other question from Frank Barbado. I can answer that one because I kind of covered that in my presentation.
Yeah.
Talks about non-functioning elevators, etc., SkyTrain. So on the SkyTrain, I'll just go over that very briefly. That was a safety issue that was discovered back in September of 23. There was cracks identified in the structure of the SkyTrain, and the system had to be shut down. It was shut down for about 6 months, brought back up in March of 2024. The 3/4 of it was brought back up in operation. And then the last segment of it, which had more severe cracks, was brought up ahead of schedule in August of this past year. So the SkyTrain since August of last year has been fully operational. Those were cracks of the concrete that were being monitored. As they got worse, they prompted an additional structural inspection, which yielded that the system was overstressed when the trains were running. It became a safety issue. What I compare this to, and this will hopefully resonate with everybody on the call, is to the Surfside building collapse. If you had 98 people die in that, if you would have had any sort of, God forbid, some sort of structural failure on the structure for the SkyTrain, you would have had several hundred people as a minimum injured. We have several hundred people on a 4-car train. So that was taken care of. As far as elevators and escalators, I mentioned that at the beginning of my presentation. Over the last 2 years, we've made significant progress on that. So we have new contracts. We've invested about $681 million. That's the total of our new contracts for our elevator program and elevators, escalators, and moving walks. So on that, we have made, like I said, we're back up to like 95% operational compared to about 2 years ago, we were about 85% operational. To give you an idea of what that means, 95% operational means that out of the 616 units, about 30, little bit over 30 some odd are out of service. But the good news is that the ones that are out of service is because they're either being replaced, because they're undergoing a major repair, or they're undergoing an annual maintenance cycle, which means that they'll break down less often because they're being maintained. So the new investment we've made a significant amount of progress on that. We've doubled the completion rate this past year on the replacements. So we've really turned the corner. That's another thing. We really turned the corner on the elevators. And another analogy that I like to use, which kind of gives you an idea how big we are. So, and Alex, I think you and I talked about this last year when we met. The biggest office building in the entire world is the Pentagon, and it's 6 million square feet, right? We are 10 million square feet here at MIA, and about 8.5 million square feet air conditioned, and the remaining 1.5 million square feet is what we call the ramp, which is where aircraft park, which is part of the terminal. So our terminal is 10 million square feet. The Pentagon, the biggest office building in the world, is 4 million square feet smaller than we are. So it's a large area to cover, but now we have the contracts in place and the resources in place where we're really making a dent in that. So as far as elevators, escalators, we have made a tremendous amount of progress on that, and we can share that information with you. To give you an idea also, as far as this is something that most people don't know because you're not in the business. The replacement of an elevator, an escalator, or a moving walkway is like an individual project. It's not like things like you can buy off the shelf. Each one of those units that is replaced has to be designed, engineered, parts have to be manufactured and delivered, etc., and then installed. That entire process takes about 1.5 years. Why? Because each individual elevator, escalator, or moving walk has to be designed and engineered, manufactured for the particular location that it's at. There's no one that is exactly the same. So that entire process, design, and the design and engineering of it, the manufacturing of the parts, and then delivery and the ultimate installation and construction takes about 1.5 years. So we have made significant improvements in that time frame and getting those things done sooner, but it does take time because it's not off the shelf. And most people don't know this either. An elevator, an escalator, a moving walk, and your average escalator, it's comprised of about 12,000 moving parts. All of those parts have to be individually manufactured. So that's why those things take so long. But like I said, over the last few years, with the new vendors that we have in place, the new contracts, and the money we're putting into it, we've really made a huge dent in it. So, and we'll continue to do so.
And you guys have your own in-house stock of parts, but also manufacture something. I remember you
Yeah, no,
mentioned something about that. You guys have your own little factory.
Yeah, the
Something.
maintenance and repair of elevators is handled by vendors. In this case, about out of our 616 units, about 550 plus are Schindler, and they do a very good job since we got them on board doing that. But yeah, we have purchased in order to make things a little more efficient. As an example, the rubber handrails that you grab onto when you're in an escalator or moving walk. In the past, there was only one company that did this, so we bought our own vulcanizer, two of our own vulcanizers, so that our team here for something as simple as a handrail repair. That's a safety issue, just to kind of educate everybody. When a rubber handrail has a crack in it, it's taken out of service. Why? Because somebody's clothes can get stuck in it, or a small child can have a finger stuck in it, and then as this thing rolls over, somebody can get injured. So those types of repairs, now we do them more efficiently because we have on-site vulcanizers, and that's one of the things that we did to try to make those repairs quicker and more efficient. So we have done some of those things, and we continue to improve. The goal always, it will never be zero. We're never going to be at 100% because throughout different times of the week, day, year, you're going to have units that are undergoing. Every single one of our units has to undergo annual maintenance cycle and get safety certified, et cetera. So there are always going to be units down. The good news now is that they're down for the right reason, either because they're being replaced or they're being worked on. So I hope that answered that question.
Are you able to see the questions as I scroll them?
Hold on.
No, we have this, the
No.
questions come in. Right.
Yeah, okay, no, because we have a lot of questions, but we have a couple more minutes for this session. Let's see what else we got.
Take some of those questions and answer them then and provide them to Alejandro.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, what we could do too is if we don't get to your question, which will be hard because we have 38 questions, you could
Wow.
also email District 7, simple District 7 at
Oh, that's answer.
miamidade.gov, and I can happily forward to the airport.
Yeah,
team.
Alex, I want to make sure that we answer everybody's questions. So the ones that
Yeah.
we can't get to today, because I know we're pressed for time, we will be happy to provide detailed answers to all the questions. But I'll look at some of these for your operations. Okay, I see this question for your operations analyses, systems analyses, or risk analysis. Do you lean on specialists? Okay, so the answer to that is yes, but the specialists we lean on are consultants that have specialized experience in the industry. So typically, the consultants that we hire have aviation experience and they've worked at airports around the world. So I know the Claudio is asking, do we use specialists at local universities like FIU or UM? I mean, some of the consultants that work with us may be educated at those institutions, but we use specialized consultants with expertise in those areas, whether it's design, engineering, airport experience, that do that kind of work. So.
In the same type of airport in the whole country.
Right, exactly.
And they were.
And okay, Cesar, can we get the link to the website that the lady, I think that means you want? Yes, we'll send you the link to the website so you can see the projects we have coming forward.
We could answer as many questions as you have time. We want to respect your time.
Sure.
And we thank you for joining us and for leading this.
Of course, it says here for terminals, has noise and vibration control acoustics been considered in the project? Yeah, I mean, noise control and all those things can be considered in all the projects that we mentioned. So acoustics, aesthetics, all those are part of the design effort for each of the projects that I mentioned and the other future projects that we didn't talk about.
And on the next gen scanning platforms, yes, we do work closely with
Yes.
DHS and TSA.
Yeah.
And as they certify and new scanning technologies, we work closely with them to to get those.
And actually,
Actually, we have,
just finished one.
we have a project to replace all the checkpoint equipment,
Right.
in most of the checkpoints to
Right.
increase the throughput capacity of the checkpoints.
And just as evidence of what Anna said, we just completed a project at Checkpoint 2, which replaced the scanning equipment there, and we finished that project ahead of schedule back in November, in time for the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays. So that was the first of many to come, where we're going to be replacing scanning technology with the latest scanning technology, which will also improve movement through the checkpoint, which is important.
There's one question there interesting about the commercial service airport report.
Wait, I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
There it is.
Okay, can you share the status of this? Can you share the status of the study for a new commercial and passenger airport to allow for future growth? Okay, we're still working on that study. You know, our planning team has took a very comprehensive look, because I mean, we are right now in 3,200 acres and change. I mean, just to add a little perspective to that, Dallas Fort Worth, which is one of our competitor airports, they have 19,250 acres, to give you an idea. So we're limited. In order for us to expand, we really can't expand here at MIA. So that study is being finalized and will be presented to the board in the next couple of months with the results of it. But yeah, we are looking at that, and obviously building another airport or an expansion somewhere else, comes with other challenges like environmental concerns and those kind of things. We have dedicated about 250 acres at Miami Executive, formerly known as Tamiami Airport, to at some point in the next 15 years be what we call a reliever airport. So the plan for that would be, at some point, if we would have to build a terminal over at Miami Executive, which would accommodate about 30 gates. That, to give you an idea how big that is, that would be an airport the size of West Palm Beach Airport in Miami Executive, in that 250 acres. So that would end up, at some point, would be a reliever, or could be a reliever airport for MIA as we continue the growth that I talked about. So we're looking at that. Let me see what else. Yeah, let me see. Okay, with all the airports around the world being impacted by cyber attacks, what is being done? Okay, so we have a very robust cybersecurity posture here at MIA. We are currently in the process of hiring a cybersecurity officer, for what the position is called. That is an FAA requirement now. We have cybersecurity. I'm the least tech guy here, so I'm going to tell you what I hear from our tech guys. So I guess it was last year, there was this CrowdStrike outage where airports around the world were hacked. We actually did pretty well in that situation and handled it well, and we recovered much better than a lot of other airports because of some of the security measures that we have in place. I don't want to get into too much of that because it's security related. But yes, we do have plans to go ahead and continue to make our cybersecurity systems more robust. Are there any? Okay, Opelika, Miami Executive. Okay, let me take Opelika first. Opelika pretty much is fully developed. We have a couple of projects there that are ongoing to develop certain areas of Opelika, but there's not a lot of real estate left at Opelika that's going to be developed. Regarding Miami Executive, we are in the process of reviewing, or we have several proposals that we're considering for developments at Miami Executive, for additional hangars, additional MROs, maintenance repair operations, for those that aren't familiar with the term, fixed base operators, FBOs as well. So yeah, we are looking at several development leases at Miami Executive, formerly Tamiami, to grow that. What else?
Yeah, it was a block.
Okay, we talked about Opelika.
Then this one.
How do you analyze all this change?
And that one we spoke about.
Okay, we talked about that. Okay, how are you designing wayfinding so it works for both line? Okay, we actually have. Can I get you a detailed answer on that? Because a couple of months ago, we rolled out an app for low vision and blind travelers and people with cognitive disabilities. We've won a lot of awards here at MIA for ADA and a lot of the ADA measures. I mean, international awards. but we rolled out, I guess it was 3 or 4 months ago, we rolled out an app for low vision blind passengers. We can send you that information on that. So let's save that question.
Yeah.
We'll send you the link to that information. That's on our website. And who's auditing compliance? Okay.
Yeah, you guys see the window I put it up?
Yeah,
So for those questions that are coming in, to keep coming in, please feel free to email me at District 7. My name is Alejandro. Again, if you want to answer a couple more questions, by all means,
yeah.
but in the
If you want to
meantime,
scroll down a little bit, I'll see any others.
I'll be forwarding those emails to Tony. Tony, raise
Go
your
back
hand.
up. I saw this one on prepaid parking.
Before
in the
he
park.
retires in 2 years, we got to fill him up with questions.
It says, will prepaid parking be available at the new Ibis parking garage? We'll have to get back to you on that one. I'm not sure. Is it?
They pay at the entrance, but I don't know about the prepaid.
Okay, we'll get back to you on that one, on the prepaid parking.
We are bringing back SunPass, so.
Yeah, SunPass is coming back. Our commercial operations team is working on bringing SunPass back. The reason that we did away with SunPass a couple of years ago is because we had so many issues with the vendor and the system not working and backups. Now we're working with the state to bring SunPass back and hopefully, get those things cleaned up. So that is being worked on. Being the #1 cargo airport, are there any major projects associated to cargo aviation in the pipeline? Well, I kind of mentioned that we spent the last couple of years exploring, working with a developer on a potential vertically integrated cargo center or VIC. But like I said, that kind of it didn't work out because the financials ended up not working out for the developer. So they self-terminated and backed out of the deal. So what we're doing is, like I said before, working with our existing cargo carriers to expand their facilities within the current footprint so we can accommodate that cargo growth.
And we have made considerable improvements to the airside area
Right.
around the cargo area
Yeah,
to allow better access for.
that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, let me say, did the stadium buy a portion of the employee lot? No. The answer to that is no.
We'll scroll down and see what's current.
Okay, the Concourse G, you know what? I'll let you answer that question, Anna, because you know that one better than me. With Concourse G being torn down, that's in the future phase of the CIP, but Anna, I'll let you walk you through that. That's actually good news.
Concourse G is the oldest concourse that we have here at MIA. So the K that the director just mentioned, the new Concourse K, is the enabling project to be able to demolish G. So we're gonna relocate the airlines that in G now to K. So once G is vacant, then we can demolish. The idea is to do a Super F concourse. We call it Super F. So we're gonna demolish the existing F and we're gonna do a new F to have a dual taxiway so we can have aircraft going in and out at the same time that we only have one. So it's one of the benefits, so we can increase the capacity for the inbound and outbound of the airport.
Okay, and now we have to jump on another meeting now.
Yes.
So Alex, and thank you everybody for listening. And I'm sorry if we went long, if I got too over technical, but I wanted to make sure that everybody, we got at least you get an idea of all the work that's going on here, the amount of work and effort that's being put into our airport, and the economic impact and the importance of our airport to the community and to the state of Florida. So, thank you all for being here. I'm sorry we have to jump off, but we have to jump off to another 1:00 meeting now.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and get all the questions answered, Alex. As soon as we get them all, we'll get written responses to the questions.
Thank you. And on behalf of the commissioner, thank you everybody in the airport team for what you do. Thank you everybody for taking an hour of your day to join us in this educational session. Again,
Thank you.
the email is district7@miamidade.gov. Email us just questions and we'll forward them to the airport team. All righty.
Sounds good. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it.
Same.
Okay, it's really here.
No, it's on the